When I need to impress someone with a gift, I go straight to 1-800-Flowers. There's a reason they've spent 50 years as the floral authority. Every stem is hand-selected by a vetted florist, and with same-day delivery nationwide, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. That's why millions go to 1-800-Flowers to celebrate life's most important moments. Order now for up to 40% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Act now and save up to 40% at 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast.
Welcome to another episode of It Had to Be Said podcast, where we say out loud what you think in private. No topic is off limits. And in today's podcast, I'm going to talk about why I started this podcast. And when I first started this podcast, for those of you who haven't listened to some of my previous podcasts or haven't read my book or taken any of my classes, don't know anything about me, I started this podcast because I see there was a lot of things happening within the United States and also within my community that I wanted to address, and I wanted to put my thoughts out there because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that, they feel the same way, but they are afraid to speak up. A good example of that would be if you're an individual, no matter what race you are, and you have a good job, you have a nice family, you have peace, you're financially well off. When you see a group of individuals, no matter how big or how small they are, doing something that's wrong or doing something that can harm them or harm the community, but they're very loud and they literally believe in whatever foolishness they're advocating for. If you speak up, they will attack you and they will disturb your peace, And so you find a lot of educated, and I'm not talking about just college graduates, but I'm talking about just life educated people who have a good life and they just refuse to get caught up in all of this stuff that's happening on social media and things that's happening within their community that's disruptive because they just don't feel like bringing that drama into their lives. But I always remember this quote that says, "Evil will prosper as long as good men stay quiet." And that's kind of like what's happening in our society now. You see a lot of smart people, they're sitting back, they're watching what's going on, they're frustrated, but, they're wondering, should I jump into this? And is it worth it? What's the payoff? So I'm not, bashing or preaching hate to any particular group of people. I am not, saying that they're 100% wrong. I am just basically saying, look, if you commit this action, here's the possible consequences of those actions. So these are things that you should think about. Now, talking about not wanting to be caught up in the drama, when I first started this podcast, I went underneath the alias James Blackwood. I had just my logo for the podcast there. Um, but, after getting myself verified with certain platforms and things like that, and also trying to get sponsorships, it was important for me to put myself out there. So I ended up changing my alias back to my actual name. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'll just kind of give you guys a little bit of background about me. My name is Ali Telfort. I've actually done quite a few different things, but nothing really heavily on social media. I've written a book called Better Thinking Habits, the Introduction Edition, which is available on Amazon in ebook as well as paperback format. I also have this podcast I just launched, and I also have a class on Udemy where I teach people how to trade stocks. Myself, I work in the finance industry, and I deal with a lot of people that are struggling financially, and they come in to get loans, or people that are starting up businesses, or someone who has a business but they need a loan or they need to restructure their business. So we do a lot of different things here at my office. So going back to why I started this podcast, um, another one of the reasons why I really started this podcast was because I noticed as a society, and I'm not just talking about, in a certain racial group or just in America, but I think also when you look at it from a global perspective as well, doing a lot of traveling, I kind of realized people are now becoming proud and posting things online that they should actually, or at one point in time would have been ashamed to do, and I'm not bashing any particular group. I'm going to try to put this in a way where, we can look at it from both sides. It's kind of like, At one point in time, uh, women carried themselves with dignity, and they understood that, you know, there was man and woman, and man was attracted to woman. And the ultimate goal was really to be in a serious relationship, to have a family, or to have a life partner. And I don't know, somewhere down the road, it kind of changed to where um, attention was everything. Now women are just walking around, no bra on, you know, their nipples percolating. Um, they're showing their bodies like everywhere you go. A woman's wearing an exercise outfit at the grocery store, at the clinic, just walking around in public, just showing their print and showing the shape of their body. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, if that's how you feel comfortable. But I think what happens is when there's that contradiction of, well, I want this this high valued individual as far as a man who has a good job, he's respectful, he's God fearing, and he's going to treat me right, and I want all of that, but I want to be able to carry myself and dress like this. And it's that contradiction where you know you will see some of the most beautiful women online on social media or Instagram or OnlyFans, posting these type of videos or posting these type of pictures, and yet you would have high net worth individuals. They may look at them, they may even screw them, but at the end of the day, a lot of these women are not, you know getting those committed relationships. And that's part of this podcast, just to basically say, look, the world is not perfect. The world will never really be perfect, but here's how you can navigate the world as it is so you can succeed or become better at life. But this is like some of the topics that we talk about here on the podcast. And, like I said, this particular podcast was really just to kind of introduce you guys to myself, and also to explain to you a little bit about why I do this podcast. It's not really there to attack anyone or anything else like that. It's really just to express my thoughts. And if I could, influence one person out there just to, you know, make a change for the better for their particular situation or for their particular life or for their particular situation or for their life. Um, I feel like I've done a good thing, So I'm going to be doing this podcast as long as I possibly can, as long as I have enough time to do it. Um, I don't really get paid for this podcast. If somebody wants to do sponsorship, go ahead and reach out to me. And I don't really show my face a lot on social media because I'm really not that person who's looking to promote themselves as an individual. I know it sounds strange as a business owner, but I consider myself a little bit more of an introvert. This is why I'm doing an audio only podcast as of right now. And also, this is a kind of a little bit of way up doing therapy for myself as well, to get myself to be out there and to put myself out there, feel more comfortable speaking and being around people and being in front of the camera. Because in this day and age, if you are going to be a business owner, you have to be a so called influencer or somebody online. It's sad to say it. Um, that's it for today's podcast. I do post new podcasts every Tuesday and Thursday. If there's a particular topic that you would like for me to touch on, you can go ahead and message me on Instagram or on YouTube. Guys, have a great day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. You always got to be politically correct.